Ciao, I'm Cristiano Garella from Davide Carlone. So today we will be in Alto Piemonte. I work with some different small estates in Alto Piemonte, so the area between Boca, Gemme, Lessona, Bramaterra and Gattinara. But today we will focus on Davide Carlone, so Boca estate. We are not exactly in Alto Piemonte because today we were working on another vineyard, but you could see anyway some good landscapes from Monferrato area in this case. Going back to Davide Carlone, so Davide Carlone is a small winery, is a small artisanal winery located in Boca, located close to Boca in Grignasco, a small municipality. We are around 100 kilometers in north of Barolo and Barbaresco, so we are in the foothills of Alpine Mountains and not far from Switzerland border. Is a cooler climate, so Boca is very close to Gattinara. She has almost the same kind of soil of Gattinara, so Gattinara has a volcanic soil, Boca as well as a volcanic soil. Boca is just a little bit cooler because it's more windy and more open on the Valsesia Valley. Davide Carlone is a small estate. Davide and Michela, two brothers, restored their grandfather vineyards, started 20 years ago, just from one small piece, 1 hectare. And then every year they increased a bit the dimension of the old grandfather vineyard. So now they have around 9.5 hectares and we are one of the biggest small winery in Boca. They produce only a tiny bit of Nebbiolo, a tiny bit of Vespolina, a tiny bit of Croatina, and then obviously the most important product of the winery, so the Boca. Boca was a very important appellation in Alto Piemonte in the history. We used to have around 250 hectares just in the Boca village. Now, in the last 20 years, there is a new small renaissance of a producer in the area. So now we are like 9 producers in Boca, and the total amount of vineyard, I think it's between 25 and 27 hectares. All the vineyards are planted by local varietals, obviously. So Nebbiolo and Vespolina mostly. Then some small pieces of Erbaluce, the local white, and some small pieces of Croatina. So the dream for Davide and Michela was being able to restore all the vineyard they used to have as a family around 80-90 years ago, and obviously is organic winery, as are almost all the wineries I work with, or practicing organic or organic certified. We are not using selected yeast. We work with long maceration whiskys. We work with traditional winemaking, and we try to focus on our terroir. Boca has a very specific character, so normally you could find a very good balance on acidity, good saltiness in the back mouth, and bloodiness. So it's very rich in iron soil. So the hematic sensation, the bloodiness in the back mouth is quite typical in the Boca taste. So sorry for if the signal is not so good, but in the vineyard is always bad. And so going back to Boca, so Boca is one of the most important appellation of area, with Gattinara, Gemme, Lessona, and Bramaterra, and so on. And what we try to do? Well, we try to vinify every single parcel separate. We try to understand our parcel, because obviously replanting vineyard where in the last 80, 90 years you could find only trees, you should always relearn how the single vineyard, how the single terroir is expressing. So our process at the moment is like a sort of evolution. Every year we try to learn something from a small plot old 23 years, another small plot old 55 years, some new plot just 7, 8 years old. So we try to understand which clone, which varietal is better in this single piece, and the vinification, we try to manage a bit the vinification depending by the maceration, not cooling down the temperature of fermentation, but adding or using at least more pigeage or pumping over or delestage or so. So it's a traditional and easy winemaking. After the fermentation, normally we wait. We just keep the wine in cold for a while, and then in the spring after the harvest we have the natural malolactic. So we are obviously not using bacteria, and then after the malolactic, normally we put the wine in the cask. So the Bocca, it's aged between 24-26 months in big Slavonian cask, untoasted. So traditional botti between 20 and 30 liters. And instead the Croatina and Vespolina, the traditional local varieties, 100% Croatina and Vespolina, are not aged in wood normally. So we try to be very light and fragrant as a style. C'è qualche domanda nel...
Vi ho richiesto partecipazione prima, ma io non sono...
Okay. No, sorry, I was asking if there are any question around about the area or the winery. Which are our next step? Next year, ideally, we will plant another 7,000 square meters, and David and Michele are building the new cellar, so the work will be much easier in the future. And then we have no big issues. So our ideas are just trying to help our vineyard, and obviously this year is a strange year for everybody, but we had the chance to work maybe more in the vineyard. So we had a very good start of the season. We had a good amount of water. The temperature are warm, but not super warm. So at the moment we are happy about where we are. Then we'll see obviously during summertime and waiting for harvest. So we'll see. What else? Coming back to Alto Piemonte. So this is a sort of map of Alto Piemonte, or what we consider the Alto Piemonte right now. So it's a system of 9 appellations from Fara to Lessona. 3 of them are volcanic: Bramaterra, Gattinara and Boca. Then there are some morenic appellations, because the Monte Rosa mountain is just there. So this is the morenic hill of Monte Rosa. And Gemme, Sizzano and Fara are mostly morenic as a kind of soil. Going on the other direction, you could find Lessona, Montalciata and Castellengo. So this area is considered more sandy or marine sandy soil. So it's lighter and is yellow normally. Bramaterra and Bocca and Gattinara are more rocky, but more on purple or red kind of soil. So this is what we consider Alto Piemonte. In this area, historically, you could find around 150,000 acres. Now, still in the new Renaissance, but we are working on. So we have only 8,000 acres at the moment. but every year we are having a little bit
Mi è
more.
piaciuta la mappa.
So yeah, I want to show you the label of the Boca. Maybe it's a terrible printing and you cannot see very well, but anyway, just to give you an idea, Boca is the appellation and Davide Carlone is the winery.
Qualcuno chiede spiegare un po' il vulcano.
Yeah, why we could find volcanic soil in Alto Piemonte? We found volcanic soil in Alto Piemonte because we had a huge underground volcano around here, Carpignano Sesia, was 40 meters of diameter, so was huge, and when it exploded, it changed the weather and the climate of Europe for a couple of hundred years. So it was just a huge explosion and an incredible quantity of magma just covered a number of hectares. Then the work of African platform and European platform create the Alps behind of us and mixed a lot the topsoil of our area. So you could find in Boca, Bramaterra and Gattinara soils who normally are 40 kilometers underground. So this is a sort of unique aspect considered Alto Piemonte, and obviously is one of the biggest difference compared to Langhe or Monferrato area. We are in a cooler climate, we are close to the Alpine mountains, but altitude is not an important aspect. It's much more important the geological details, the geological origin of the appellations, and obviously the cooler climate. We have much more rain than in Langhe, and in general our soil are acidic. That means in general our soil are characterized by an acidic pH, are sandy or rocky sandy, so we have no clay, and is for sure one of the biggest difference compared to Barolo and Barbaresco. If you think about Barolo and Barbaresco normally are based on clay soil, so Boca, Gattinara, Bramaterra and so on are all based on acidic pH soils.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out, it's still strange for me to speak in front of a phone and just not tasting anything, so it's becoming strange. But anyway, it's always good to speak about wine and meet somebody in a different way. And I hope we will have a chance to meet in a real tasting soon. And anyway, enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend, and then have a chance to drink Alto Piemonte wines in general and maybe a Boca. So thank you, and I hope to see you. Ciao ciao.
Poi ti consiglio di guardare se...
Fun.